something aspiring, which was supportive style of communication. The characteristics of supporting style of communication are gentle, steady, sincere, approachable. And I was pretty happy that I got this result. And this is the communication style that I wanted to do. So it is. This is the supportive communication style, whichever I feel. This makes the communication very effective, and other communication styles can build on it. To make our communication style more approachable, we can adapt different types of communication style as and when it is required. So it is okay to pick a particular style of communication whenever the situation arises. So let me tell you how will I adapt the different types of communications in my workplace. The first one is as you know, this is the examination month. I work in the college. My examination in charge, he is very straight, and he will give the instructions for everyone to be on time, and he doesn't tolerate anybody coming late to the exams by invigilation, and he will tell directly to the person that you should be on time, should not do the mistake again and again, should not repeat, and like that. And sometimes we feel that he is impatient. So, dear Toastmasters, what do you think? What kind of communicator he is? Any guesses? Commandable. Yes. Any other guesses? He is a direct communicator. Direct communicators are result oriented, focused, and disciplined. They always wanted to work in a disciplined or structured environment. So whenever I talk to him, I will keep my communication very straight. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I will always using short words. That kind of communication I adapt. So coming to the next type of communicator, that is my colleague. As she is from the commerce background, she is very talkative, and she will share everything, whatever happened in the invigilation, how the students were sitting in the class, how they were like communicate during the examination spontaneously without asking. So she makes the place very fun loving, and we will even talk for hours without any content. They don't need any content. So any guesses what kind of a communicator she is without any content? Initiating type of communicator. So initiating communicators are fun loving, spontaneous. They are very lovely in talking. They don't need any content. They will just expand. They will go on talking, and they don't need any permission to talk. So whenever I talk to her, so I will be very that I will also talk whichever I know. Also, I will talk to her. She will be explaining about the GST, income tax, that and all. I don't understand also the commerce terms. She's aspired to become a CA also. She'll be telling all those things, and sometimes I get the more knowledge because of her. She is initiating type of communicator. Even I'm just acquiring or adapting to her communication style. The next type of communicator is our principal. Yeah, our in our so in my principal cabin, whenever we go and meet him, we don't just go, and we will always have a pen and paper. He needs the raw data. He will rely on the data. He wants the date. He wants the budget for any activity we are planning. Everything he needs. He rely on the data other than just speaking. He cannot give more than 10 minutes for anyone. He is the analytic type of communicator. They are precise, cautious, and disciplined. Uh, they are precise, cautious, and disciplined. They are more result oriented and is the diplomatic in interactions. So whenever I talk to him, even I will be very uh, prepared with always. I will have a raw data whenever I go and speak to him. So it is overall, it is very important for us to adopt the different communication style with others because it impacts the interactions with others. For me, the communication with my co-workers helped me a lot, personally and professionally. And sometimes we need to be like a chameleon. Chameleon, you know, it will changes the color according to the background. So I'm not using this in a negative sense. I'm using this in a positive way. So sometimes we need to adopt and change according to the others, according to different types of communicators. That's what. Then we should be very agile and flexible in the communication style. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Are you ready to adapt and overcome your communication style? Thank you, PM.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashmi, for that wonderful speech. And give a thunder of round of applause for Toastmaster Rashmi. Session 1, that is prepared speech session. Give a thunder of round of applause for both the speakers. Now going on for the second session, that is table topic session. So our table topic master is an electronic engineer with more than 11 years of experience in the field of embedded automotive software development and validation. He is currently working as a tech lead in Infineon Technology. His hobbies are playing badminton, cricket, and football. He loves spending time with children. Put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Sikandar.
Thank you very much, TMOD, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests. Table topic session is intended to develop impromptu skills, speaking skills, and this skill is helpful in conducting interview, taking interview, presentation, or any discussion or meeting. You might be surprised why, while conducting interview, this skill is needed. In last 1 year, I have conducted around 50 interviews for my team. In one of the interview, this guy has not done well, okay? And then I told, okay, what do you want to ask from me? You can ask. So normally people, what they will ask, how will be my role? How will be the structure of the project? How the team and all will be there? This guy asked, how did I did in today's interview? I was shocked. I was thinking, okay, like he has not done well, so how to sum up? So this was a impromptu situation for me, and this kind of situation we should take care. Okay. So I will start today's session, okay, with this line by Zhuangzi. I dreamed I was a butterfly flitting around in the sky. Then I awoke. Now I wonder, am I a man who dreamed of being a butterfly, or I am a butterfly dreaming that I am a man? So we will start with today's session. So first topic session is daydreaming a waste of time? First topic for today's evening is the daydreaming a waste of time? For this, I would like to call upon DTM Prabhakara sir.
Mr. Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Is daydreaming a waste of time? My own view is that it is not. It is, in fact, it is the daydreaming is something that occurs when your mind is not focused on anything, and it starts freely examining different possibilities. And it is from the daydreaming alone, things starts evolving. It becomes a real dream where you can perhaps start visualizing things, and from the visualization comes certain vision, from that comes the mission, and then the action follows. Daydreaming is something that you try to make choices, and in fact you can move from one world to another world through daydreaming. In fact, in one of the profound questions asked by Yama in the Aranya Parva Mahabharata is something like this. He says, which is the most or fastest thing in the universe? For that, the Yudhishthira Dharmaraya says, it is the mind. Even Einstein says it is the mind that gets into the illusion. Other Indian philosophical word for illusion is Maya. And it is daydreaming is the one that takes you from one space to another space within no time, and you can be out inside it at the same time, come out of it, and once you come out, you can examine what was the kind of thing that you went through as a dream, how real it is to the reality. So you can say, there was a ABBA pop music line which goes like this: I have a dream, a song to sing, to take me through the reality. I know my destination makes it worth the while. Taking me through the darkness, still another mile. I have a dream, a song to sing. So daydream is really required, and that is the one that takes you forward and fixes some kind of a focus later on in your life. Over to table topic master.
Very well summed up, DTM Prabhakara. Second topic is your experience when rupees 500 and 1000 denominations were banned. Your experience when rupees 500 and 1000 denominations were banned. And this goes to DTM Vijay Upendra.
Thank you, table topic master. Good evening, Toastmasters, welcome guests. This demonetization did not really affect me because I used to transfer money through net banking or the app issued by the bank. And as such, I had not faced much problems. But looking at the whole scenario, the total population that is not able to understand the app management as well as the internet management, it is that area really that made me to realize how it is very important to understand the literacy part of it when it comes to the question of handling these type of apps and internet aspects of it. Fortunately or unfortunately, only a minimal percentage of people are exposed to this type of educative system. Unfortunately, majority of the population are not. Hence, even Government of India has come into lot of criticism by the opposition. I am not referring to the political output of it. From the perspective of difficulties that is faced by the people. So there was a hue and cry in that area. So individually, my experience was not to be that greatly affected with reference to the banning or demonetization as such. This is all my view as far as this particular table topic is concerned. Thank you, and back to you, table topic master of the day.
Very well said. It was a economic literacy for whole of India. It was for all. We learned of UPI transaction and online transaction. We learned of. Third topic for today's evening is which car is your dream car and why? Third topic for today's evening is which car is your dream car and why? And this topic goes to Toastmaster Supreet.
Mr. Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I think that is something that keeps changing, right? When I was a kid, I had all sorts of big dreams saying one day you'll drive a Rolls Royce or something of those likes. Like our sergeant had changing dreams at every 5 year interval. That's what I think most of us go through. At 10, it's a Rolls Royce. At 15, you want an Audi. And at 20, you realize a Wagoner or something is more dream achievable, right? So something that we've really found, whether it's your car or your life goals or whatever it is, we see that through our journey, we become more mature and our dreams start becoming more mature. I wouldn't say you start constraining or restraining yourself in your dreams, but what you start understanding is uh, you're going for feasible dreams, but at the same time, you keep your dreams just out of the box. So it pushes you out of your comfort zone, makes you do that little bit extra, right? So you pull out a car, it's just an analogy, whether it is eventually you're driving from place A to place B, and the number of people you're taking with you. So when you draw those analogies to your life, you realize that each dream that you're seeing, whether you're daydreaming or doing it whenever you like, each dream is taking you from place A to place B. Place A is where you are right now, and place B is where you eventually want to go. And what is it that takes you from A to B? Those are the efforts that I think is more important, more meaningful, and that's what is going to change you as a person. Having said all this, if you still ask me what my dream car is, I had a Wagoner, I changed to an Ertiga because I wanted a 7-seater to take my whole family. Eventually, someday, maybe I'll end up in a Rolls Royce if all turns out well. Back to you, David.
Very well said, Toastmaster Supreet. So next topic is, you cannot make an omelette without breaking eggs. Next topic is, you cannot make an omelette without breaking eggs. And it goes to Toastmaster Ankita.
Thank you, Sikandar, for that topic. The one thing that popped into my mind as soon as the topic came up was a quote from Bill Watterson in Calvin and Hobbes, that when Hobbes tells to Calvin, life is a game of juggling eggs. And that's something that immediately popped into my mind. So I think basically another quote that I can think of is, you can't make a rainbow without a little rain. So basically, yeah, you have to go through some adversities to actually become what you are, because no journey is ever free of obstacles, ever free of those thorns in your path, like to put it metaphorically. So yeah, to be able to become anything in life, or to be able to get to any level, like Supreet said, from place A to place B, you have to go through some challenges, some adversities, and yeah, some broken dreams, while some do become fulfilled. So thank you for that topic, and back to you.
Very well summed up. The next topic for today's evening is your view on increasing competition day by day in every aspect of life. The topic is your view on increasing competition day by day in every aspect of life. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Sai Sneha.
Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Competition is something we all encounter in each and every aspect of our life, whether exams or whether brands competing with each other. Sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it ends up in a very negative situation where you wouldn't want yourself to be in. Few years ago, there was a friend of mine who was extremely competitive in whatever he did in life, to the extent that he committed suicide because he lost a race, a running race. Sometimes people take competition so seriously that lose out in life rather than winning. But sometimes it can be a blessing for us. For example, brands compete with each other to give us a products at better prices. It may look like they want us to win it, but it is in fact competing with each other brands to give us the best products in that price segment. This is something really I love because as a consumer, we would want the best of whatever we have. And the only way you can get best of what you have is by brands competing with each other. When a company launches a phone with something new in it,
the market is waiting for it to grasp on it because it knows there's a share in it and it wants to eat the pie. There was a theory many years ago. There was a vendor near India Gate, just a single ice cream vendor. And a fellow person saw it and he's like, I want a share of it too. So he set up his stall very next to it, next to the other person. He started getting the share of the pie which the other person was getting. And in fact, the first person who was there had to reduce his prices. He might have been at loss, but there's a larger picture at play. This is what happens when people are competitive. We all gain and somebody loses. That's about competition. Thank you and bye.
Very well summed up, Toastmaster Sai Snehal. Without competition, we cannot grow. The next topic for today's evening is, if you try something too extreme, you may give up. If you try something too extreme, you may give up. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Siva.
Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you try something too extreme, you may give up. And this takes me back to a very temporary part of my life where I went to the gym in order to put on some weight. I have always been trolled and bullied for being really thin. I went to the gym for 2 months and I went every day, no, except on Sundays. The other guys in the gym, they would come on few days, they would not come on few days, but I would go every day because I really wanted to do it. But what I did was I tried something too extreme. I tried lifting something too heavy, which would not be possible for someone with such tiny arms. I tried lifting 20 kilo dumbbells, and they obviously did not happen. I ended up injuring myself. I went back home, was in pain for a short while. I didn't go for a few days. But then I didn't give up for that reason. I gave up because maybe I thought I'll have to focus on my career now, and maybe I'll do these extreme things later on in my life, lifting weights and all this can wait. First, I need to get a job. First, I need to earn some money. Back to your table topic.
Thank you, Toastmaster Siva, summing up the topic with a very good example. Next topic is, what is your favorite family tradition? Next topic is, what is your favorite family tradition? And the topic goes to DTM Udanka.
Table topic master for the Toastmasters and guests. When this was told, I got a smile on my face because that tradition, I haven't never seen any of the marriages. That is probably it's only seen in my family. After all the rituals is over, when bride and bridegroom comes for the lunch, after all the tiredness having from past 3-4 days, they come finally sit together to have their lunch, but we won't allow them to have their lunch peacefully. We literally take a basket full of papad, start eating on the head. Not one, not two, not three. The entire family members of more than 100 plus members, each of us hit a minimum of 5 or a 6 papads on their head for both bride and bridegroom. I don't know how this tradition was started or was it a ritual before, but we ended up having it for a fun event. We do it every marriage, no matter it is we are from bride side or we are from bridegroom side. We go to the canteen people. We make sure we have around 1,000 papads ready for this only that ritual, right? And it is kept separately. No matter if they don't have stock, we go. Let it be any new town, any new state. We go search papad, get it, give it to the members of cooking department, ask them to prepare it and make it separate. This is the one which I really like, but I'm a little scared also because when I end up in that position, my head is really going to hurt. So it's a fun having this ritual. Back to Evaluators.
Very well summed up, DTM Udanka. Because of this, you will find in every corner of the world Indian shops. So I was in Germany and every 2-3 kilometer you will find one Indian shop. You will get all the things, Haldiram, Bhujia and all you will get. So that is our one way of tradition. So the next topic is, what tradition would you most want to pass on to your children? Next topic is, what tradition would you most want to pass on to your children? For this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Pawan.
Toastmasters. We are from a little village and we have very simple traditions there. Like we have to I'm back with my remembering thread. Actually, I'm not following. That's why I forgot. We have lots of flower plants in our hometown. We used to make garlands every day. We used to decorate to the idols and gods, etc. But in making that garlands, my mother has very unique styles, and every time she makes a different one. Even after 100 designs she'll make, and she'll keep doing, changing the design. I learned that, but I want to teach that to my kids. They are not ready to learn. I don't get that much flowers also now. That's one unique tradition. Only my mother and myself and my sister knows to do in our village. So I want to pass that on to my children. Hope we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pawni. Very well summed up. The next topic is, does the future excite you or scare you? The next topic is, does the future excite you or scare you? And this goes to Toastmaster Sanjana.
Once again, good evening to fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I belong to that club who gets overwhelmed with the future or the changes. But I think I am growing to that lot where I would find it more exciting for the future and not be scared of any changes whatsoever. So every day is like a new beginning, which I look forward to and see what's in store for me on that particular day. And I have stopped thinking about a far-fled future instead of just thinking about immediate future, like what is my next meal, or am I meeting my friend, or will I just call off the plan? So I hold on to the immediate future plan, which excites me more than a far-fled future, which might scare me. So I do not think about it much. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana. The next topic is it good to give money to children who beg? What will you do? The topic is it good to give money to children who beg? What will you do? And this goes to Toastmaster Monish.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, for a wonderful topic. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So I think this is a very controversial and it's a very, like, everybody has a different opinion on it. So my take on it is we shouldn't give money because most of what we know is what we've heard and what we see in the news is they've been run by a racket of underworld or whatever. We don't know if it's true or not. But this other part of what people see is they're young children and they have the ability to work. So most of the times, a lot of them speak to them, and you realize that they're not really interested in education or they're not really interested. So all they want, I've actually come across a lot of kids, and most of them are very arrogant. So the way they approach you is, you want to give it, you give it, or else they won't even say thank you. They'll be like, I don't care. So that raises a lot of eyebrows. And when you see a child who's actually begging and you realize, like your human instincts, you'll know if he's actually deprived or something, or he's very arrogant. So I think this is a very controversial topic, and it always depends on your instincts. But when you look at a child, you'll know if he's been deprived or something. So I think with that, it's personal opinion, and I think we shouldn't give, and we should probably, if you can do something, you can say, I'm going to offer you, I'm going to pay your fees, or just, if you have a lot of time, you say, where do you stay, and you can probably help them out. I'm a part of Rotrack, and we do a lot of community service through these. And what we've observed over there is the children who are actually deprived, they don't come begging. And even if they do, they're very humble. So this is what I know through personal experience, and thank you for the topic.
Very well summed up, Toastmaster Monis. The next topic is, what habits would you like to break? The next topic is, what habit would you like to break? And this goes to our guest, Arjun.
So I think the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to bad habits that I'm supposed to break is I usually get up late. So the first thing is I want to get up early. That is a major change which I want to make with myself. And the reason being a lot of diversions that happen. So maybe now with the number of options that are there, maybe it is changing from OTT platforms, which keeps you addictive to the net, to meeting friends and all that. With all the distractions available right now, I think it is getting up early is the biggest challenge which I'm facing right now. And if there is one habit which I want to break, I think this getting up early. That is one thing which I want to do. And the primary reason, I mean, if you have to work it on a little on the back step sort of a thing, it is if you want to get up early, the first thing you have to do is sleep early. So that I think.
Very well said, guest Arjun. The next topic for today's evening is, what is the most difficult thing about getting older? What is the most difficult thing about getting older? And this goes to guest Vises.
Topic master, Toastmasters, and our guests. So it's getting older, as in you feel really when you have friends who are less, who are 2 3 years younger to you, they are looking up to you, and there are a lot of responsibilities coming on them, and you have a lot of goals set in your mind, and you have to do it. So basically, I feel there's a lot of responsibility to come on to you, and expect more from you, and sometimes it scares us, but that's the reality, and that's how things have been going. And all of us, well, I think I agree, all of us have been gone through this situation and have grown up to it. And today, I think you guys feel it's just a normal thing which is going to happen, and you're going to eventually come out of it and grow older. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, guest Vises. With this, we come to end of today's evening Toastmaster session. And over to you, PM Modi.
Thank you, table topic master, Toastmaster, and that was a wonderful session, and all the topics were very good. And give a thunderous round of applause for table topic master and all the speakers. Dream as you will live forever, and live as you will take today. So with this, we are going to have a 10-minute short break, and we will come back after the 10 minutes. Good evening, everyone. Let's move on to the third session, that is final session of today's meeting, that is general evaluation session. So today's general evaluators is a MTech from BIT Pilani, working as an NPI operation lead at Applied Material for display and flexibility technology. He loves watching and playing football and reading fiction novel. Put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Supri.
Good evening, everyone. I'll quickly jump into the evaluation session. The business session started at 6:35 p.m. I think we were slightly delayed from our actual session. I think the actual timing was 6:15 is what we start with. So I think a little bit of here and there with the current constraints and all that happens, but I would suggest we try starting at 6:15 more or less, so that we can have that extra 10 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever buffer we have towards the end. But once the business session started, the president was crisp. She had a couple of points. One was roles for the next week, and the second was the base camp feedback. The base camp was something pretty new to me because I've not been very active in this new format. So I think that's a good point for me to take away and go back and check what is it and how I can be a part of it. So that was the job very well done. With that, we went on to the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shiva. I would say great voice. You have a lovely voice. It's very commanding and you automatically get people's attention. Good job on that. You had a very nice, warm welcome. What I really liked about your address today is there was a nice story weaved into the theme, right? Where you put in correlations between Dream and Dream 11 and how you tried to make it a bit humorous. Beautifully done. Good opening to a very nice meeting. And what you can do better, right? A couple of ground rules you missed. We had the sergeant speaking about putting your phones on silent when it was a complete offline thing. So maybe now that we're back in an offline online mode, you can start mentioning about it. Your intro to the president was very nice. It was, I would say, clean. You had everything that was needed. But start trying to think of how you can make it better each time. Sergeant at Arms is a very tricky and a role that's full of learning because you have to introduce the same person for 6 months and yet make it interesting. That's a huge learning curve. How can you make it interesting? How can you make that person feel better before they come onto the stage? And because he or she is the president, they should have a very good image when they come in front of everyone in the audience. So how can you make that better? That is something that each one of you can experiment when you become a Sergeant at Arms. And right now, Shiva, you can try doing it. Beautifully done. I liked what you said, but maybe change it a little. You said, don't invest in Dream 11. It's legal. Be cautious when you're in Dream 11, but don't be cautious when you're dreaming. A good round of applause to the Sergeant at Arms. With that, we moved on to the President's address, Toastmaster Ankita. A pleasant smile, a warm address, and a great command over your English language. That's how I would define your address. Your address today was a very conversative style of speaking, very natural, that automatically connects with the audience. So beautifully done on that. I love the way you try to develop audience connect with a lot of questions back and forth. So it keeps them involved, keeps them into your story, into your address. Very nicely done. How can you take it to the next level, right? And because I know you as a speaker and I know I can be a little critical and push you out of your boundaries to do better. Going forward, try to have a more emphatic story when I come up as the president, right? When we look at a president's address, what people usually look for is for the chair that you hold. We look for something more inspirational, more persuasive. So try to keep your stories that are more emphatic. Spend a little time on the theme and try to develop your own. Your story today had a very light personal connect. Try to see how you can put that on a larger scale. So try to build that from where you are to giving those inspirational speeches. And I'm sure you have it in you, and I will see those speeches in one of the future presentations. But all in all, very nicely done. You kept the guests very welcomed, very warm. So I would say a beautiful textbook execution. A great round of applause to the panel president. With that, I will quickly move on to the prepared speech session. Speaker 1 was Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Can I have the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Sanjana, to present her evaluation? Can you have a round of applause?
Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and my target speaker, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. The title of the speech being "No one is you and that is your superpower." The best way to start a speech or to engage an audience is by posing them with a question. The speaker did this smoothly by posing a question to the audience. The speaker spoke about the importance or the essence of embracing originality and staying true and genuine to oneself. Well, this is something required in today's age where there is constant usage and comparison and trying to be liked by someone, and seeking validation. Remember what pops into our heads when we think about conflicts. We always think about the original flavor and not the flavored ones. So we tend to make a great impression when we are original. The speech was grammatically well articulated and also checked the box of audience awareness. The speaker's eye contact was immaculate. Generally, if a speech addresses the issue, if a speech addresses any issue, it would only be complete if it provides with solutions. So here, the speaker did a great job in enlightening us with few tackling mechanisms. What the speaker can work on is that when she posed a question to the audience, she could have probably given them an opportunity to answer so that it would have been an interactive session. The vocal variety and pauses are few areas which may be improved, and having a personal anecdote will always earn you extra brownie points. Overall, the speaker did a great job in attempting the level by quoting a verse from Gita and had a wonderful message with a well organized format of speech. I wish the speaker all the best, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for the evaluation. As the general evaluator, I'm supposed to evaluate the evaluator than the speaker. So going through your evaluation, I think there are two kinds of evaluation, right? One is evaluate with a structure with a set agenda about the speaker's strengths, areas of improvement. The other thing is going by the manual. And when you are evaluating manual speeches, it kind of makes more sense to stick to the manual and see if in that particular project they've done justice to those points. I think you chose the second option, and that was very easily depicted and comprehended even by the speaker to go back and check on each point that went well and maybe that she can improve on. So beautifully done. I like that you went back and summarized the whole thing to the speaker's ease. So job beautifully done. A good round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. Speaker 2 was Toastmaster Rashmi. Can I please have the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Munish, for his evaluation? Can we have a round of applause?
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster 3. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and their guests, and Toastmaster Rashmi in particular. So I felt your speech was very wonderful, and I would like to start off with the factors that you excelled at. So the opening examples were very well explained. Like when you said the baby's crying is a type of communication, that was very unique and different, is what I felt. And so the part that I really liked about your speech is that you were getting the audience to interact, even though it's a first level, right? So it's a first level speech. Not a lot of speakers do that, and it was a lot of professional speakers do that, and it was very nice of you to do that. So, and the styles that you explained were very well described with the help of personal experiences. So usually we've seen speakers doing the same speech. They just explain the format and they leave it at that. But you put a personal touch to every example and every example and every part of the speech. And all these examples were linked. So that was very good. That was very unique again, because like sorry. So every so you had to explain on different styles of speech, and each style you explained with a story, which each story was linked, and that was very nice. And most of all, you stuck to the purpose of your speech. That was very well explained. And the things you may have to work on is what I think are two things. You repeated the sentences a couple of times and you had a couple of long pauses. So probably you can practice your speech a couple of more times and you can work on that. And two is that the speech abruptly ended. So that was like the elephant in the room. All the speech was very well, the flow was good, but the ending you can probably work on that. And I wish you all the best for your side. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish. So, evaluating your evaluation, I would say you stuck to the first one where you wanted to give about the speaker. You used pickle sandwich technique where you wanted to give them the goods and then the areas of improvement. So, a couple of things that you can maybe work on is have maybe 3 points. We call it the power of 3. So, have 3 points that they're really good at, 3 points that they can improve, and go out with a summary. So it's easy for them to comprehend, maybe take notes. If there are just 3 points, they can just maybe take notes on that and they can play on their strengths or work on their improvements the next time. But all in all, a good job done. A good round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. Before I move ahead, I would request the people who are online and offline to cast your votes on the ballots. If you've done, let's give 10 seconds for that. Hoping all of us are on 4G. While that is happening, I would just want to check if the individual evaluators had received your evaluation notes beforehand. Okay, great. Both the evaluators have confirmed that they have received their evaluation notes beforehand. That's a nice thing to do, and that's something that even future speakers should take note, and they should start sending out their evaluator notes to your individual evaluator before the meeting starts, at least maybe one day in advance, so that they can go through their notes and be more prepared when they come in for your evaluation. And with the new format, I see something called the notes to the evaluator. Maybe one of the evaluators read it while the other one was misled by me, saying it's not really needed. But I think I just found out that we have to read the notes to the evaluator so that people know what they are being evaluated on and what is it that the evaluator has to focus on during this particular speech. So let's make it a practice to read notes to the evaluator going forward. Now that we are done with the evaluation, I'll quickly go to the roll takers for their reports. Can I please have first the timer, Toastmaster Pavani, with your report, please?
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, meeting number 1157 commenced at 6:35 p.m. The business session took 2 minutes, and welcome by Sergeant returns took 2 minutes. And then today, first speaker took Sri Vaishnavi took 4 minutes 40 seconds, and the evaluator Sanjana took 2 minutes 22 seconds, and the second speaker Rashmi took 6 minutes 50 seconds, and the evaluator Monish took 2 minutes 12 seconds. And the table topic, there were 12 table topics today, 12 speakers. DTM Prabhakara took 2 minutes 26 seconds. And Toastmaster Vijay Upendra took 1 minute 33 seconds. And Supri took 1 minute 39 seconds. And Toastmaster Ankita 1 minute. Sai Snehal 2 minutes. And Shiva 1 minute 20 seconds. Udanka 1 minute 40 seconds. And myself Pavani took 1 minute 27 seconds. And Toastmaster Sanjana took 1 minute 15 seconds. And Monish took 1 minute 46 seconds. And guest Arjun took 1 minute. And guest Vishesh took 1 minute. And over to the
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavani. Is this one of the first few times you're taking up the role? Okay, great. So Good job done. You've gone to the details. You've written the timings for each of the table topic speakers, but maybe something you can add on to it is tell us how long the president took in her address. Tell us how long the MC has taken so far. Tell us how long the G session has gone on for so far. So you'll have to do a little bit of stop and start when the MC is going on and when the G is going on. But you have to do that and take notes so that it's feedback to everyone to work on their timings, because there is something stipulated for the president, for the G, and for the MC as well. So that is something you can do. But a good round of applause to the timer. We'll now move on to the R counter, Toastmaster Shiva.
Once again, a very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me start off with my report. The Sergeant at Arms Shiva had 1 hour. The president was flawless. Toastmaster of the day, Shashikant, repeated and used "and" as a crutch word quite a number of times. Coming to the first speaker, she was completely flawless. Her evaluator, Sanjana, was completely flawless. Speaker 2, Rashmi, had 1 and 1 She used "so" as a crutch word throughout her speech. Coming to her evaluator, Monish had 1 pause and again repeated "and" many times throughout his evaluation. The table topic master repeated "so" quite a number of times. Toastmaster Sikandar. First speaker, DTM AK Prabhakara, was flawless. Speaker 2, Vijay, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, was flawless. Speaker 3, Supreet, was flawless. Speaker 4, Toastmaster Ankita, was flawless. Sai Snehal was flawless. Speaker 6, Shiva Prasad, had 1 hour. Speaker 7, Toastmaster Udanka, was flawless. And Speaker 8, Pavani, had a couple of long pauses. Speaker 9, Sanjana, repeated "and" a couple of times. Speaker 10, Monish, again is repeating "so" and "and" a few times. The general evaluator so far has used 1 hour and has been repeating "so" a few times. Back to you, general evaluator.
General evaluators should keep coming more often to the club to come out of these hours, is what I take out of it. Good evaluation. Let's move on to the PP evaluators report. DTM Udanka.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, the meeting was flawless. All the members had no crosstalks, and the members on online mode had their videos on throughout and kept themselves muted throughout unless they were not turned off.
So much. Yeah, good round of applause to the VP evaluators. Maybe there were a couple of something that I would want to add there is there were a couple of mentions about a couple of religious topics here and there. One including the Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, but as long as it's not affecting anyone's intentions or it's not on the wrong side, it's still good. So maybe you can make a note of that and inform. With that, we will move on to the last floor taker, the grammarian Toastmaster Sai Snehal for his report.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'll start with the not so good usage first because the good usage outnumber there. 2 times a meal could have been 2 meals a day. Financial things and everything could have been financial situation. Very much sure could have been very sure. And there was one usage such as Gona should have been, it is not wrong, but we are a formal institution where we would recommend using going to. Now let me come to the good usage. The cynic in me, life is like a roller coaster ride in a flat terrain, deep down in your heart, free to think. Daydreaming takes you from one page to another. Economic literacy, constraining or restraining your dreams. Life is like a game of juggling eggs, thorns in your path. Weights can wait, extra brownie points. And I was very ecstatic to see someone would use the word ecstatic, but unfortunately nobody did. That's all for my report and back to Pranita.
Maybe I should have used the word ecstatic and then called you for your report. But all good job done. Quick tip to people who take up the tab C roles, right? The role takers. I liked what Toastmaster Sai Snehal did in his introduction today. He tried to blend in his role into the theme of the meeting, right? He said he had a dream. Raji said he had a dream that people might would want to speak flawless or be more grammatically correct. So that is how you try to do something extra no matter what role you take in Toastmasters, so that you learn that little bit more, you push yourself that little bit more. So I really like that about you, Toastmasters Snehal, and I would urge the others to try something of this lines when they take up any role. So can you have a huge round of applause for all the role takers, please? With that, we moved on to the table topic master, Toastmaster Sikandar. I like your introduction to the role, to the session as such, as to why it's important, why it's really a part of our everyday lives. I really like that. You had a good variety of topics, some of them in line with the theme of the meeting, some of them out of the box. So all of them was really well done. Something that you can try to improve on is, the first thing is maybe the PPT was not necessary. Your topics were clear, concise, and crisp. They were not very complicated ones. They were simple lines. So maybe you can do away with the PPT and just announce the topic like you did twice. So it's clear, and it was really an add-on. The PPT was, you could have done it without it. Something that you can try to do is transition between two topics or two speakers. You had a crutch phrase there where you said very well summed up. It almost came up to all the 10 out of 11 speakers, if I'm not wrong. So maybe if you want to break out of that routine, what you can try to do is try transitioning it, right? So maybe when you went on, your first one was daydreaming, and your second one was demonetization. So how can you connect between these two, right? So that is something you can start thinking on as a table topic speaker. Speaking of daydreaming, I never thought I would see a day demonetization would come into picture, but it did. That brings us to the next topic, right? So something like this. And as much as possible, it's not just for you, anybody who takes up the table topic master's role, try not to give your opinion on the topic after the speaker has spoken. It is their arena to do it, not yours. You're only to give them the topic. So try not to do that. But all in all, it was a very good session. Good topics where speakers have spoken more than 1 minute. Put them at ease. A good round of applause to the table topic master. With that, we will move on to the Master of Ceremonies. The Master of Ceremonies role starts not at 5:45 or 6:15, it starts a day or two prior, and that is what you did, right? Sending out requests to ask us for our introductions, getting your introductions in place before you even come up here. We even had a speaker from outside the club, but we made sure you had her introduction also in place. So MC's role starts with some amount of homework, and you did that really well. And from there, when the meeting started, you were well dressed, you're in formals, which has been a little missed here and there off late in meetings, but we really wish to see that more often. So very good job done on that. It's a very nice theme to see this. So beautifully done. You had collected information, you had made introductions to all of them. So it was textbook execution, right? How can you make this a little bit better, right? You spoke about the theme. You had a story for you from your book, from your kitty for the theme. As much as possible, as the MC, we try to avoid talking about the theme. That's the president's job. You give it to the president talks on the theme, you get into the meeting agenda straight away. So maybe you can try working on that. Something that you can try to improve in your introductions is the standard format of having the introduction, the title of the speech, and then the speaker's name, right? You give an introduction to the speaker and then you say, with her speech title, no one is like you, and that's your superpower. Please welcome Toastmaster Vaishnavi, right? With both the speeches, what happened today is you gave the speaker's name, everybody started applauding, and then you had the speech. And I missed the speech title for both of them, right? So that is a format that you can try to follow. Put in the introduction of the speaker, give the speech title, and then the name. But there is nothing that I can take away from you for this one. A seamless meeting, you put everybody at ease, everybody in the spotlight, being the MC, made them feel comfortable. A great round of applause to the MCPs. With that, a couple of points that I really wanted to put in. I know the hybrid is a boon so that we can have more people attend from wherever they are, but trust me, the essence of Toastmasters that I have really seen from my little journey that I have been here is offline is a beautiful thing to experience. So at least maybe you can take it as a note. Maybe the XCOM can make sure that all the XCOM members are at least in offline sessions. We had a very nice rule of saying all the role takers should be at the table first. So maybe you can bring that back. If you're a role taker, don't sit back and relax. Come to the table, sit there and be more into the meeting all the time. That is something that I would really like to see. I think other than that, the meeting was very nice. It's nice to come back here after a long time. A job very well done. Giving my 2 cents about the theme, right? I have a dream. It takes me back to a small boy who used to wait outside a McDonald's store at 11 p.m. in the night, waiting to get that one free burger, sometimes from somebody else's leftovers in Portugal. The difference between him and many others out there in that city was he had a dream. He had a dream that he would go on to be one of the best footballers in the world. He put that plan into action. He put those actions in place, and today the world saw Cristiano Ronaldo. Right? Similarly, Mekon was somebody's dream. You and I are reaping benefits out of it. And for a lot of them, good public speaking is a dream. And you and I can really try to be a part of their journey. Right? So the next time you think about coming here, don't second guess yourself. Walk in here, be a part of someone else's dream, contribute to someone else's dream. Mekon is a great place to be. We have got those benefits, help others get those benefits. All I would say is, you have a dream, I have a dream. Let's make everyone's dream come together. On that note,
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmasters Supreet, for a wonderful conducting the wonderful general evaluation session. Give him a big round of applause. Then we came to an end of all the 3 sessions, that is prepared speech session, table topic session, and the general evaluation session. Give a big round of applause for all the speakers. With this, I hand over back charge back to the president, that is Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shrikant. We have had a great meeting today and a very, very insightful general evaluation session. Thank you, Supreet. We'll take back whatever suggestions you've given us and try to implement them to just take our meetings to the very next level. Now, I would like to request all of you to please provide your valuable feedback on Basecamp. I know I'm saying this in every meeting twice, must be kind of repetitive, but please do go ahead and provide feedback on Basecamp. Goes a long way in helping all the members stay motivated. Secondly, tomorrow we'll be releasing the YouTube link where you can watch a recording of the meeting. Please do watch the same if you want to revisit your speech or any evaluations that were given in today's meeting. Now I will come to the most awaited moment for today, that is the results of the best role takers for today. So coming to the best Tab G role taker, that's backed by Sai Snehal for his remaining efforts. The best major role taker goes to our general evaluator. The best evaluator goes to Sanjana for that very insightful evaluation. The best table topic speaker goes to DTM AK Prabhakara. Is he online? The best prepared speaker goes to Toastmaster Rashmi for that speech and communication skills. So that brings us to the end of yet another meeting. Thank you all for being here. See you all next week. Before we end, let's rise all for the national. Thank you all. See you next week.